So welcome back to the Venom Workshop. What I'm going to be showing you how to do today is we're going to do a tune-up on this Maddog scooter. And the reason I'm doing this is it runs nice now. I completed everything else on it. It needed a new fuel pump and some things like that. Those are all taken care of, and it does run right now. And I mean, but it has some sputters and things that I don't like. And the reason for that is the gas in there is probably about 3-4 years old. Gas doesn't last very long. It starts to break down after I think it's like 2 years is like shelf life for gas, if it's not constantly stirred up. So anyway, this is going to be what's going on with this. So it's got old gas in it, it's probably got an old spark plug in it, so we're going to do a whole maintenance deal on it. So we're going to do an oil change. I'm going to take the plug out. I might not change it, but I am definitely going to clean it, and we'll see how the plug looks. It's probably going to be black. So we're going to get started doing that. I'm just going to get some tools together. We'll get the spark plug out, we'll clean that, we'll drain the oil out of it, we'll do an oil change. All the little maintenance things that you're going to want to do, we're going to go over. So this is going to be a Maddog maintenance video. So we're on the left-hand side of our Maddog here. What we're going to do is we're going to pop our spark plug wire off, our coil wire. And you're going to need a 16 mil socket to take out the spark plug. So let's do that. Get our spark plug out, and yeah, she's pretty black and just got a little soot on it. So I'm not going to change the spark plug. It's a Bosch spark plug in there. It's not a bad spark plug. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a wire brush and just clean off the top here, and I'll be right back. I'll show you exactly what it is. And I mean a handheld wire brush. I'm not taking it to any sort of machine. I'm not getting any sort of drill on it or anything like that. Just a regular handheld wire brush. And I'm going to clean it off, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I cleaned off my plug. You see it's really nice. And I also gapped it correctly. So you can use a feeler gauge or a spark plug gauge. And what you're going to want it to come in to like gap it for is 0.06 to 0.07 is perfect for the 50cc engine. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to put our spark plug back in. And it should go in freely. You shouldn't have to fight it in the threads. So I'm going to put it in there nice and tight. Just my fingers first. And again, when you do a spark plug, you want to tighten it in until it's snug, and that is all. So like that, and snug, and that's it. Don't try to go in too hard, because if you really crank on it, you're going to just strip the threads, and then your bike is not going to run very well at all. So next, we've got our spark plug all to take care of. We're going to do an oil change on it now. Now, an oil change is easy. Your oil drain plug is right here. It's right on the bottom here, and it should be a 17 mil. So I'm just going to grab my 17 mil and a little tray to let the oil pull out in. Really hope my container's not cracked here, but you can only hope for the best. Okay, so you're not going to need a huge container, but you want a little one. Like a Tupperware container usually works. Like I said, that's just a 17 mil. Now, when we unscrew this, there's going to be a spring behind it, so be very careful when you're letting it out. Wow, this thing has no oil in it at all. Maybe when I stand it up. So what you would want to do is let it drain right now. Usually if there's more oil in it than this, you'd want it to drain. And then after it's done draining as much as it can like that, you're going to want to stand the machine up. So stand it up like that. And you'll see some oil. Now the oil's starting to come out of it. Now the more you tilt it this way, because the drain is on the right-hand side of the engine, the more you tilt it this way, the more oil is going to come out of it. So I'm going to hold that like that, let the oil drain out of it. And there should be a lot more oil draining out of it than that. I'm gonna give it a little shake here. Try to get as much as I can out. There we go. Okay. Now, when you put it back in, it's gonna be the exact same way you took it out. The filter is gonna go up first, behind the spring, and then the cap. So it should look, oops, just like that. But I want to get my filter. So my filter goes in like that, and then it can go back up inside the engine. There we go. I'm just going to give that a wipe. And I'll tighten it up with my 17 mil. And again, it's the same as your spark plug. You want it snug, but not so tight that you'll never get it off again. There we go. That's perfect. Now I just have to get my funnel and my oil, and then we can start putting some oil in it. So your oil dipstick for the Maddog scooter is right behind the muffler. And that's also where you fill the oil. There we go. We'll get our dipstick out here, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start putting some oil in there. It should take probably around, I think, 600 milliliters, give or take, on this engine. So let's start with that. I have this handy dandy little funnel that I can use to put oil down. It's a great idea to get one with a funnel like this so you can watch. And go with the recommended oil weight, unless it depends where you live. Like if you're in Florida driving this all the time, go with a little bit heavier oil. Let my oil drain down in there. So I started off with 400 mils, and then I'll go from there. If I need to put another 200 in, I can always do that. But I would rather go with a little bit too little and then fill it up a little bit at a time than put a whole bunch in there and have to drain it all out. Now, when you put your dipstick in there, you want to make sure that your dipstick is screwed in all the way when you do the your oil check, because you won't get a proper reading if you just let it sit on the threads at the top. So we're going to go ahead and put it in. And I'm also going to stand the bike up. So I'm not going to just leave it sitting idle. Like it doesn't, if it sits on the left there, all the oil's pooled on the left. So it's not really giving me a proper reading. So I'm going to stand it up for a sec, just like that. And then I'll take my dipstick out and we'll see what the reading is on it. Now I got to go back down on its kickstand. I can pull it out and take a look. And it's, see, with 400 mils, it's just touching right here. So it's probably going to take closer to 700 or 800. And that's not a big deal. Still, it's less than a quart. It'd be about 0.8 or 0.9 of a quart. Whoa. And there we go. Now we're going to do the same thing. Give your dipstick a wipe each time before you put it in. And you don't want to put too much oil in here. If you're riding and you have too much oil in here, what it'll do is it'll blow it through the air filter. And this thing's going to smoke like nobody's business. So you want to be very, very, very careful putting oil in for if you put it too much in it. It won't blow the engine, but it will start blowing out the front of the engine into the air filter. Yeah, so it needs probably, it's about halfway up, so it needs probably another maybe 200 milliliters, and that should be enough. So that should be enough there. I should be able to just let that all go down. There we go. So that should be enough right there. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to stand it up. So it's going the hashtags on the dipstick. And we'll see how high it is. It should be pretty close right now. Yep. So if we look at our hash marks, our oil is coming right up to the top. It's exactly where I want it. So I can go ahead and put that back in. So I know my oil is where I need it now. Our spark plug's nice and clean. Now it's all about just wiping down your bike. Anywhere you see some dirt and dust and stuff. Check your tire pressures, stuff like that. Checking your tire pressure, you can go to any gas station now and do that. Most of them have a tire pressure gauge there. So your tires should be running at about 30 to 35 pounds on this. That's both front and back. You can go up to 55 pounds in these tires. I would not recommend it. It'd be like riding on stones. That is the max air pressure. So usually around 30 pounds. I like a bike around 30 pounds, give or take, and it gives it a nice smooth ride. So you can do that, like I said. Check your tire pressure and stuff like that. But other than that, that's your maintenance. And again, go around, give your bike a wipe everywhere you see some dirt. Even down inside here where it collects over time. And that's it. That's how you do maintenance on your Maddog scooter.